game of the year is
Wukong! Abi Dabi.
Astrobot.
This new Black Myth Zhong Kui trailer might have changed everything, but here's the question. What's really going on? Where's Wukong? And what's Game Science's ultimate plan? I know a lot of you are just as puzzled as I am, but don't worry, because today we're going to dig deep into this mystery. We'll talk about Zhong Kui, why Game Science may have decided to shift gears, and how this project even came to life in the first place. And hey, huge shout out to my amazing community over on Bilibili and WeChat. You guys shared a ton of information with me, and it honestly helped piece together a much clearer picture of what's happening here. So stick around, because what we've uncovered so far might surprise you. Now, the information I'm about to share with you might actually be what sparked the idea of exploring a brand new journey within the Black Myth lore. This comes from a conversation that took place between the art director Yang Shi and Wei Shi during a casual hot pot meal. And just so you know, this conversation was originally in Chinese and then translated by my amazing fans into English. So keep in mind, it might not be a 100% perfect translation, but the core idea still shines through. From the director himself, Yang Shi, the art director of Black Myth Wukong. One day in mid-April, I was having hotpot with Wei Shi in Beijing. During the meal, we chatted about a ghost story, and I half-jokingly said, "How about helping me shoot a CGI clip?" Wei Shi's face lit up, and he slapped his thigh, asking, "So we're making a full-length film this time?" I thought for a moment and replied, "The budget is the same as the last CGI clip we did. We'll make it as long as the budget allows." Wei Shi fell silent for a while, then asked, "Who's the character in the story?" I explained, "Last month, I had a dream about a strange man with a black face and a red beard, holding a tiger, standing guard on a balcony. It felt unusual, so I jotted it down after waking up. I'll send it to you once I'm back from Hangzhou." Wei Shi was silent again, then asked, "What is this for? A new project?" I replied, "Let's shoot the clip first. Once it's done, maybe a project folder will materialize." Wei Shi seemed to hesitate and sighed, and simply said, "Let's have a drink first and take our time planning." In the blink of an eye, half a year has passed, and this clip is finally complete. Yes, the character in the story is none other than Zhong Kui riding a tiger in my memory. Zhong Kui wasn't depicted riding a tiger, but after waking from the dream, I looked into it and I discovered that Ming Dynasty paintings often show Zhong Kui astride a tiger. It seems this was no ordinary coincidence. In a creative work, timing and faithful opportunities matter greatly. A group of old pals has been working on a journey to the West themed content for over a decade. Perhaps it's time to refresh our minds. Tales of gods and demons are naturally thrilling, but legends of the supernatural should also bring their own unique charm. Teacher Yokar Feng Ji is already working on Li Xiongjiao Soul Separation tune. For now, Black Myth Zhong Kui has no presentable gameplay content to show. When it reaches a stage worth sharing, it should unveil an entirely new vision. Of course, the story of Wukong is far from over. We're also waiting for the right moment, and for more like-minded partners, we'll soon post openings for more key positions. Feel free to keep an eye on gamescience.cn for updates. That said, with so many outstanding games releasing lately, it's almost overwhelming. Maybe it's not a bad thing for Black Myth to lie low for a while. Summer days in Hangzhou are growing longer. This year, the trees in my neighborhood seem sparse, and I haven't heard any mysterious calls. Only the ceaseless chirping of cicada rises and falls, vibrant and full of life. And that was the letter from Yang Shi and Wei Shi. This letter, to me, it seems like these folks are clearly looking to improve Black Myth's journey. And they're not trying to rush the story. They want Black Myth Wukong and the journey to the West to be absolutely immaculate. Therefore, they're looking into improving their technicalities. And you have to remember that this is their second time tackling on such a big project. And the fact that they delivered such a huge success, such a major hit all around the world is quite fierce and scary at the same time. Therefore, they're taking their time into exploring other ideas within the myth, within the black myth lore, and improve themselves. And then later on tackling the Wukong story, Journey to the West. So where does that leave us, you may ask? Well, here's what you can do. You can either get really excited because DLC is actually confirmed. The only thing is, we do not know exactly when that's going to happen. And I'll read that letter to you from the director himself, Feng Ji, in just a moment. Or you can also... Now, hear me out. I know a lot of people gave me flames for this one, but listen to me. You guys saw how they animated Wukong on the animated CGIs that we got during the gameplay? You guys saw how quick he fights those gods, right? Doesn't it make sense to make Wukong fast as hell? When I say fast as hell, I mean this fast. I honestly think Wukong should be moving as quick as possible. Moving, fighting, all of it should just be as fast as this. And if the devs are wondering how they can balance it, well, they can make the enemies just as fast and even learn the patterns that the player does with AI tech or something, you know? I don't know, they just have to make this guy accurate, because at the moment, he feels way too slow. That is my only gripe with Black Myth Wukong. So now we're going to read the letter from our big brother Feng Ji. Let's see what he has to say. After the release of Black Myth Wukong, I spent a considerable amount of time feeling dazed and confused. Something I had yearned for nearly 2 decades had finally come to fruition, and the outcome far exceeded my initial expectations. Logically, I should have been rolling on the floor with joy, humming cheerfully every single day. Unfortunately, human nature isn't wired that way. Intense positive emotions seem to fade quickly. Happiness often slips away in the blink of an eye. During that period, what truly lingered in my mind were feelings of confusion, emptiness, and anxiety. I know how melodramatic that sounds. Please don't shoot me. No matter how ashamed I felt for not being able to revel in the joy, these emotions surged uncontrollably, especially when I was inundated with questions like, is there a DLC? What's in it? When will it be released? As a professional adult, I've become adept at burying these negative feelings, convincing myself to buck up and dutifully start working on the DLC. Because I knew all too well that those eagerly asking about the DLC were undoubtedly fans who loved Black Myth Wukong, who supported game science and who had carried us all the way up to the summit. So, for the better part of the year after the release, I settled on some directions, wrote some lore, held some meetings, and the team officially kicked into the gear under the DLC first plan. This continued until one day this year when Yang Shi messaged me in the morning saying, there's something important I'd like to discuss with you. I happened to be away from the office that day, so we scheduled a chat for the evening. When I met him, my questions was, do you not want to work on the DLC? Do you want to start something new instead? Relieved, delighted, and as if it were the most natural thing in the world, we immediately agreed. I'm sorry for giggling, but this is something that is so you can resonate with a lot, because only good long-term friends can kind of read each other's feelings and emotions in times like this. In times of pressure, only your closest friends will understand you. Now let me continue with the letter. Then we began gradually convincing our colleagues, and now, here we are today, announcing Black Myth Zhong Kui. A DLC certainly wouldn't have been a bad choice, but at this moment, we'd rather focus on creating a new installment in the Black Myth series, a new hero, new gameplay, new visuals, new technology, and a new story. Unshackled, daring to experiment, unbound by conventions, starting from scratch. Many might argue that the DLC is steady, safe, clear-cut, and would be quicker to deliver. But I've seen countless fan creations that are already far more ambitious and unrestrained than our initial DLC ideas. Like all of you, I deeply adore the world of demons, monsters, gods, and Buddha in the Journey to the West. Therefore, the Legend of Wukong will return in a more complete and solid form in the future, once we are fully prepared. As Mr. Iwata, the former president of Nintendo, once said, On the extended line of what we already have, there is no future. Without the unknown, there can be no surprises. Without challenges, there can be no fun. Game science will carry your love and hopes forward, continuing to diligently deliver every new chapter. I'm just sat here reading this letter, just sad as hell, just listening to a man just in pain, because obviously he just doesn't know what to do with himself. He never even imagined he'd be able to succeed this hard, and he did. And when he deserved something, people took it away from him. And I'm not talking specifically about the letter. The way I'm seeing this is because think of what happened at the Game Awards last year. Black Myth Wukong broke pretty much every single record, and it didn't get Game of the Year. You wonder why? Because the world is an unfair place. It's a very rigged, effed up world, as you know. Of course, I'm not stupid. But that was in my mind, and I know it's in his mind as well. Like, how can you do so well and break pretty much every record and you still don't get what you deserve? Correct? So anyway, Mr. Fengji, I just want to say, man, we adore what you did with Black Myth Wukong. We, the fans and the gamers that truly love gaming, we know where the real ones are, and you have nothing to worry about because we will confide in you to deliver a masterful experience. You and your team have done great for China and the culture, your culture, and it is thanks to you guys that every other developer in China is now taking and following your footsteps. You are the leader, so please lead confidently. Do not cower between anyone for anyone, okay? And if you do, I'll make sure to clear the pathway for you, brother. I'm here for you. Yeah, I'm still mad about Game Awards 2024. But anyway, we can continue now. Let's learn about Zhong Kui. So who is Zhong Kui? Zhong Kui is a legendary figure in Chinese mythology, often depicted as a fierce, bearded man who is the ultimate demon-slaying hero, known as the Demon Slayer or Ghost Catcher. Zhong Kui is a protector of the people, tasked with warding off evil spirits, ghosts, and malevolent forces. He is a symbol of justice and bravery in Chinese folklore, often portrayed in art, literature, and even modern media like games and movies. The most famous tale about Zhong Kui comes from the Tang Dynasty, around 618 to 907 CE. According to the legend, Zhong Kui was a brilliant scholar who lived during the reign of Emperor Xuanzang. He was incredibly talented, but had a rugged, unattractive appearance. When he traveled to the capital to take the imperial exams, a big deal in ancient China for becoming a government official, he scored the highest marks. However, because of his looks, corrupt officials denied him his rightful title. Now let me stop you here for a second, guys. Doesn't this remind you of Black Myth Wukong? How it broke every single record known to mankind, to gaming industry, and it still didn't win its rightful title, Game of the Year. Doesn't it? Anyway, let's continue. Devastated and furious at the injustice, Zhong Kui took his own life in protest by throwing himself against the palace gates. His tragic story caught the attention of the Jade Emperor, the ruler of heaven in Chinese mythology, or in some other versions, the Emperor of the Underworld. Moved by Zhong Kui's talent and sense of justice, he was granted divine powers and appointed as the King of Ghosts, or the chief exorcist of the supernatural world. His job, you may ask, to hunt down and subdue evil spirits, ghosts, and demons that plague the living. In Chinese mythology and folklore, it's totally normal for regular people to become gods after they die. This is different from Western myths, where gods like Zeus or Apollo are born as gods. In China, someone who's super brave, righteous, or does something amazing like Zhong Kui did, or Zhang, a famous warrior from the Three Kingdoms, might catch the eye of a Jade Emperor, the boss of heaven basically, or the underworld king after they die. They get prompted to become a god with a job, like catching ghosts, Zhong Kui's gig, and protecting people. In Chinese culture, if someone is incredibly just, does great deeds, or suffers an injustice, like Zhong Kui, who was cheated out of his exam title, their soul might get hired by heaven after death. It's like getting a promotion in a cosmic company. In some stories, cool people are actually gods who come down to earth to experience life. like Sun Wukong, the Monkey King from the Journey to the West. They might not know their true identity until they die and return to heaven as gods. But not every god starts as a divine being. Zhong Kui was just a regular guy who earned his godhood through his character and tragic story. How is this different from the Western myths? In Western stories, heroes like Hercules might go to heaven or become demigods after death, but they rarely get specific jobs like managing ghosts or guarding cities. Chinese gods are like working gods with clear duties. Zhong Kui hunts demons and protects town. Also, Chinese people treat these gods like hometown heroes. They pray to them during festivals or put up their pictures at home to keep bad vibes away, which you don't see much in Western myths. Chinese gods are super down to earth, not like Western gods like Zeus or Thor who live far off in the heavens. They're like friendly neighbors. Everyone knows kitchen god watches your stove, door gods and Zhong Kui keep evil away, and Xuanzang boost businesses. During festivals, people hang their pictures or pray for luck, tying them to daily life. Unlike the West where you wouldn't worship Hercules at home, Chinese gods have jobs like community helpers, feeling like heroes next door. And just so you know, in Chinese traditional culture, the story of Zhong Kui catching ghosts is known to many people. However, the origin and the identity of Zhong Kui are not something the average person can easily explain. So if I am wrong in some of the stuff that I have said, please correct me or feel free to just comment down below and let me know exactly how it all unfolded. So now that you know about the story of Zhong Kui, what do you think game science, or how do you think game science will implement some of their own twists and turns into the game and its lore itself, like they did with Black Myth Wukong? If you have any idea what they're going to do, please let me know in the comments down below. My name is GVG and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.